So, yeah guys, long story short, we got raided by the police today and I might need your help. First up, this video is probably mainly addressed to the Dutch people who watch this series. But since the largest amount of people that are watching this is not from Holland but from other countries that don't speak Dutch, this video probably has some severe impact on the future of this channel. I figured I'll just do this in English because everybody in Holland can understand English anyways. Yeah, you probably noticed that I'm sitting down because I'm still a little bit stressed out. I'm okay right now. A couple of hours ago I couldn't keep my hand straight, but now I'm okay. But yeah, actually this morning I wanted to make a celebration video because last week we passed 1 million views and this week we surpassed 5,000 subscribers, which is great. So I figured, small celebration video. This isn't really anything huge right now, but still I'm very happy with those numbers and I figured I wanted to make a nice celebration video. So I was working on that this morning and then the doorbell rang. And I figured oh, that's probably maybe Case, maybe Boyd, and maybe we can make a nice video together. But when I opened the door, there were a bunch of cops. I think I've seen at least 8 of them. And yeah, they weren't really too happy. So what was the series of events that led to this situation that I almost had a bunch of cops knocking in my door? A couple of weeks ago it started with Boyd. We took apart his car, his multicolor Honda Civic. You've probably seen, I don't know, I don't think we did a video on that, to be honest, if I think back on it. Anyways, that isn't really important. Some people complained about we having the car outside. And what happened was that there was a cop car, they drove by, they checked the car. And when they checked the car, they noticed that there were a couple of British license plate cars parked right behind there. Now, it's important that you need to know that in my building complex that I have a garage in, there's a larger complex and all the ground surrounding that complex is private ground. And it's all part from the big owner who owns everything. And I rent the garage and I rent a couple of parking spaces in front of my garage where I can park cars. Now, I always thought because it's private property that the entire road, the paved area around the warehouse is also a private road. But the lovely people from the Dutch police department told me that that's not the case. They have told me that if you can reach a place with a car without any obstructions and it is paved in some manner, that it is in fact an open road, even if it's on private property. So that means that all the cars I have parked outside are now on public roads. And that means that I have some cars that aren't imported yet. I have some cars that are zorned, or I don't know what the English term is. In Dutch it's geschorst. That means that you can't drive it on the road, you don't have to tax it, you don't have to insure it, but you can't drive it on the road. Now I figured, hey, there's no problem because it's on private property, but apparently that's not the case. So, anyone from Holland who is watching, if you have your own driveway and you have your cars parked there and they're zorned or whatever, you're illegal apparently. I didn't know that, maybe you guys all knew that, I didn't. And so what happened is they've seen the English cars. And it turns out that there is a large amount of criminality right now with people who drive in Holland with cars with British license plates and they run drugs pretty much. So drug runners having illegal license plates. So the police car that came by the first time, they saw the car, they profiled it and they saw a bunch of sports cars with British sports cars with British license plates, and they were like, hey, British license plates, this is strange. So there apparently is a task force in Holland which is searching for British cars, and they were tipped off and they profiled every car and they've noticed that they were exported from the UK, but they weren't imported in Holland. So they were like, oh, these are cars that are not registered anywhere. This is very strange. So this is all happening on my private property, which apparently is a road. And so apparently they have been profiling me for a couple of days. They have profiled all the cars. And yeah, so when I opened this car, I suddenly had 8 cops somewhere around. I've seen that the entrance was blocked with the cop car, so if I was trying to run, they would probably get me. They seemed, well, they didn't seem very threatening because I opened the door, but I'm pretty sure that they would have kicked in the door if I didn't open the door right away. So that was fun. Yeah, so they started talking to me, and they said like, yeah, this is not gonna happen. The official procedure apparently for having a car that's not registered on a public road is that the police impounds it right away and then crushes it. So that was apparently one of the ways it would have gone down today. So what would have happened is that probably the Suzuki Cappuccino, the Toyota Syrah, the Honda Beat, and some other cars I've parked outside, they would all have been scrapped if I didn't play my cards right. The Supra would have been fine, by the way. That one's just registered and I'm driving that would have been no problem. But only the cars that were not registered as a Dutch car, these would have been scrapped. And I would have gotten tickets for all the other cars that were registered as Dutch cars. Oh yeah, one other very important piece of information, because you might think like, why are they using 8 police officers and they're blocking off the roads just for one guy with a bunch of cars? Well, it turns out that the previous renter of this place before me, they ran a wheat farm here. So this specific location, this address, has been marked by the police as a wheat farm. So what the police saw was a previous wheat farm with a bunch of illegal cars that usually are used apparently to run drugs. So they probably thought there was a drugs kingpin here or whatever, and they thought this was a bunch of shady shit going down here. And yeah, so that's why they came up with a lot of people, and they were, well, I wouldn't say SWAT, but they were prepared. So, you know, after I talked to them and I've made clear about what I'm doing, and I've just let them inside, let them check, see that there's not really a drugs factory here. They were actually pretty cool and chill about the situation. They said like, yeah, you still need to remove all the cars that are parked outside. You are going to get tickets for every car that's parked outside because it's still the public road, even though you didn't know that. So I have about 9 cars parked outside. I've heard some various numbers on how much it costs per car, but apparently I'm looking at about $5,000 in fine, which, you know, sucks. And on top of that, all the cars need to move, and they need to move ASAP. So this is where I'm going to need the people. I mean, there aren't that many people in Holland that are watching this, but I'm going to need you guys. If you happen to live in the area of Breda, or if you happen to live somewhere around the area of Breda, and you happen to know a place where it's relatively safe and relatively cheap to park cars, then just let me know. I'm probably going to put a link here, somewhere, email address, that you guys can use to email me some locations. They need to be somewhere off-road, maybe a garage or something, maybe a place where they store caravans or something. I don't know, if you guys just have any leads to a location where I can probably rent somewhere where I can store about 9 cars real quick, yeah, just let me know. I would really appreciate that. Yeah, at the moment I am looking at several options. Case was already helping me out. He is looking at several options as well to park all the cars. Yeah, even though I was not allowed to film with the police there, I was allowed to make one photograph of one police officer who's the one who spoke to me most. And yeah, that's the only thing I was allowed. We did, however, get a picture from Barry from the Supercar Challenge, which is, you know, right next door to this shop. And he sent me this very nice picture with the comment, "Ha, there goes your collection." Very funny, very. Yeah, to be honest, as much as I would like this to be a marketing stunt or a ploy or something, you know, I've seen something similar with other YouTubers, and as much as I would like that to be true in this case, no, we actually got raided today, and I'm actually still a bit upset about that. And we actually came off pretty well. I think, to be honest, that it was the Suzuki Cappuccino that saved all the other cars in the beginning, because the guy, the one who spoke to me most, he saw the Suzuki Cappuccino and it reminded him of one of his British sports cars he used to have way back in the day. And he said, like, yeah, there's some special cars here. I don't want to crash it. And, you know, they saw I wasn't doing anything illegal. So, well, apparently I was, obviously. But, yeah, they were still pretty cool about this. So, yeah, that's the situation right now. We're going to look for a new place real soon next to this place. And so we probably have to operate from 2 locations now, which, you know, really sucks. I can't park any of my cars outside. I can't park any cars on my own parking spaces that I rent. So those have become useless to me right now. I can park regular cars that are taxed and insured, but I can park those literally anywhere in the world, and that would have been fine. So having my own parking spaces, well, that entire point is rendered moot right now. Yeah, I'm not really happy about the situation, and I don't know, to be honest, what the future is for the Midnight Garage with news like this, because if it turns out that I have to put half my cars away somewhere in a different town, and since I can't move them all the time because I don't have a trailer or something to keep moving all those cars, I don't know what I'm going to do with the channel. And well, I'm just going to see. And I very much hope that somebody comes up with a nice space somewhere around in the area. And I hope we can continue what we're doing right now. But as much as I can say everything will be fine in the end, I'm not sure 100%. I'm sure maybe 30%, 40% that everything will be fine in the end. But for 60%, I'm not. So yeah, that wasn't really a good celebration video now, was it? Right? Yeah, as much as I would like to have made the video any more fun and any better than what this actually is, that's just the case right now. Yeah, so even if you don't know anything, please share the video with your friends or something. That maybe if you know somebody who lives in the area, or you know something, give it some exposure. Maybe the car community can help each other out. I don't know. I'm just thinking, you know, I don't know how to fix this situation, and yeah, I still hope I can bring you guys some good news. And if I can't bring you any good news real soon, probably keep an eye out as well, because then we're gonna have to make a video in 2 weeks where we're going, well, where the police is going to impound and crash a couple of rare cars like the Toyota Sura and the Suzuki Cappuccino, and maybe even the DC2 Integra, and you know, some other cars that are outside as well. And I don't really want that to happen, and I don't think you guys want that to happen as well. So yeah, finally, I do still want to bring home 2 points. First up, if you guys think that I'm very anti-police in this video, I don't know why, but I'm not. I think the police were definitely in their right to do what they did today. And especially, you know, since the whole bigger scenario and everything going on, they were definitely in the right. Plus, the police is actually pretty chill and relaxed about modified cars and car culture in general in this town, especially compared to other towns in other countries. So that this happened, yeah, you know, shit happens. Also, I didn't make this video for you guys to have some pity with me, because I think that's nonsense. I think people should face the consequences of their own actions, and in this case I should have just read up on the rules more before parking cars there. And I've had police cars here come by in the years that I've been here, and I've had small talk. They've seen the cars and they've never made a point of it. But you know, if that's the law, then that's the law, right? So anyways, I think I'm just rambling at this point, so I think I'm just going to end the video right here. And yeah, I definitely hope that in the next video I can bring you guys some good news.